This is John Mulaney. You're watching Comedy Matters with the man, with the doctor, Jeff Gurian. Don't go changing.
I'm here in the lobby of the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Montreal with a favorite comedian of mine, John Mulaney from Saturday Night Live. Is it okay that I say that you're from Saturday Night Live?
Oh, of course. I'm definitely from there. I am on loan from Saturday Night Live for the summer. I'm absolutely owned by them and here for like the time that they allot for us. And when we go back in August, I will have to be back. So yeah, absolutely.
Have you been on camera on the show, or are you writing material?
I've been writing there for 3 seasons. I've done some things on Weekend Update where I come on and do like editorials, which are basically just excuses for me to get my name out and do jokes, and but those have been really fun. Writing there is already great, but I like popping on and cramming my face into the camera.
I'm always fascinated about how things happen. How did that, how's the sound, Sean? We good? Yeah. I'm always fascinated how that happened. Like, how did you hook up the Saturday Night Live gig?
I mean, I had been around like New York for a few years. I'd probably...
Where are you from originally?
Chicago, yeah.
Another guy from Chicago.
Yeah, but I'm not like a comedy guy. I wasn't like doing Second City or Improv Olympic or any of that. I just lived there as a kid and grew up there, and I went to college in D.C. and then moved to New York after. So I'd been around there for a couple of years, and I think I must have met like Seth Meyers and Amy Poehler after a couple of years, maybe through like the UCB theater and doing shows there. And then I had been writing for Important Thing. Andy Kindler's there. I had been writing for Important Things with Dimitri Martin, that Comedy Central series.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That I did a season on that show, and then we were like on in a long hiatus, and they asked me to audition for Saturday Night Live, and I came in and did like an audition, and they said at the end, we don't have room for you, but would you like to be a writer on the show, because they know I'd written for things. So that came together.
Because they knew that you had written for who?
For Dimitri, for other, I guess I'd done a couple like pilots, nothing that had gone, but.
How did Dimitri see your stuff?
That's it. I've another lucky break in terms of getting a writing job without submitting written material. Dimitri I just knew from, different rooms in New York, and I'd opened for him a couple times, and then he asked me if I wanted to write for his show once they were picked up. So that was another, just kind of hanging around, eventually got a job type good luck scenario. But
I love stories like that because it's about synchronicity. Like you're in a place and...
It really, only advice, that I ever give anyone is like, just hang out with other comics, because eventually people just go, oh, I like that guy, Having worked at SNL, we certainly read a lot of written submissions and see people's stuff, but most of it's, oh, I know this person, you should take a look at them. So it really is helpful to hang out as much as possible.
Who's handling that these days? Who takes written submissions at SNL?
They come in and they're handled by a few writers and producers to take a look at.
Well, there's no one person? Years ago, it used to be like one person.
They may be addressed to one person, but they're run through a few people.
So, it's such a historical show. It's a great honor to be part of that show. The history is
really
amazing.
Like being asked, do you want to go play with the Yankees or something? It's it's great, and you go there, and then it's kind of like, all right, this is, we know the show can be good, so you better deliver. Which is, it feels like a lot of pressure. It's also
which is hard for a tall baby.
For a tall baby, yeah. For a
tall child, I think.
Baby face, old radio voice, I got there and I had this feeling of like, oh, now I'm showing up and I'm supposed to have 25 years worth of ideas, because they know the show,
yes.
So that you can't be like, oh, I didn't know you didn't do those kinds of pieces. It's like you have to be familiar. So I felt that coming in. I was like, they know I'm a fan, so I'm supposed to have had like a lifetime of ideas for this. Yeah, well.
Before you were born even.
Yes, absolutely.
So now, how did you get to be like kind of partners with Nick Kroll? How did that come about?
I met Nick Kroll when I was 18. I met him like the third day of college. He was a senior. I was a freshman. I auditioned for the improv group at Georgetown. and he was the director, so he cast me in the group. So I had to audition for Nick. I thought he was Hispanic when I met him, but he was not. He's Jewish, and he'd be the first to tell you that.
Right.
And he
tries to pass himself off as Hispanic, though.
occasionally in character, and also, yes, this is a Sephardic Jew. He tries to pass himself off as a Mediterranean or a Hispanic sometimes, and I think he's tried to pass a few times on singles cruises. But he put me in the group. He and I did stuff in the improv group, and then I would just like keep in touch with him because he moved to New York right after college, and I was still down in DC, and he was doing like open mics in New York, and he was doing sets at clubs. And so when I would come up and visit him for the summer, I would just kind of try and copy what he was doing. And that was really, again, another like person who just helped me undeniably was Kroll, because he was like, oh, this is how you get booked on these shows. This is how you get booked at Gotham. You know, this is how you do all those things. And I just kind of followed his lead, which was great to have.
Yeah, it's amazing to have a mentor.
Yeah, I can't imagine people that, you know, because there's lots of people who just move to New York or LA, and they just go, I'm going to try stand-up. I was friends with Kroll, and I was also, by then, pretty good friends with Mike Birbiglia. And they were around, and they were like, you know, Birbiglia was already doing the Strip and the Cellar, and he was in pretty deep in the New York comedy scene. He'd come up here already, and I was able to just see what they had done and kind of mimic it, you know. So people who come to New York or something without like a friend they can just copy, that is really ballsy to me.
Very, very courageous, to say the least. Yeah. How'd you come up with the Oh Hello boys, the Oh Hello guys?
It's in our wheelhouse. Neil Brennan, ladies and gentlemen. And he's trying to throw a peach, but he didn't. It was a fake out. He was, not Neil Brennan. We were at the Strand bookstore, you know the Strand on 13th?
Yeah, sure.
And we saw these, and those types of characters are already kind of in our wheelhouse. Yeah, in our lexicon, absolutely. So we were at the Strand, and we saw these two guys that we kind of copied our look off them. Like they had like turtlenecks and sport coats, and they were both buying copies of Alan Alda's autobiography, Never Have Your Dog Stuffed, which had just come out. They're both buying individual copies.
And they weren't together?
No, they were together. But they were that older, like Upper West Side, very slightly cranky, slightly bitchy, like shuffling through the store and being like, oh, look at that over there. That's very nice. And then
you knew that they would be discussing the book later. They would both read it together.
They weren't going to share a copy. That's my favorite thing about it. So we then had this show we were doing at Rafifi, which was a place on 11th Street that's now closed. And we were going to be hosting it with stand-ups, and we just figured we would host every show as those two guys and interview stand-ups after their act. And we were just sort of out of touch, like guys who kind of stopped following comedy in like 85, but still felt very with it. And like, you know, we'd talk to comics about, I guess, whatever we wanted. It was fun.
Are you still shooting any of them? Because you invited me to be in one.
You are 100% invited to be in one. You've been invited for a couple years now. Yeah. And we're going to do one. I don't know. We got to come up with a character for you. Record producer or something. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where do you live?
In Manhattan, in the East 50s.
You're in the East. Okay, you're on the East Side. Okay. Well, you could be on the West Side if you wanted. I mean, you can swing anywhere.
I could be anywhere I want. Yeah, I drive. It's a free country.
Jeffrey can be anywhere he wants. It's true.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to come up with something to do with that. We did a short last summer. I think we're gonna do one. No, maybe it was already 2 years ago. It's been a while, but you know, Nick's got his own show now, so he better put it on it. You know.
Yeah, because I would really love to do that. I didn't know if you were serious or kidding, but if you're serious,
we're serious. We're 100% serious. The not having had you in one yet is because we haven't made one since we discussed it.
Okay, well then we have to put that on the agenda for sure.
Do you have like a tough demands or rider or anything, or do you think would you be pretty amenable to a low budget shoot with us?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would pay you to do that shoot.
Yeah. I think we can work with it. And I think you'll fit in excellently with the Oh Hello World.
With the Oh Hello World.
Yeah.
Good. So now I saw your show up here. I went to the theater. You had that one-man show, Making Fun. Was that the name of it, Making Fun? Yeah, I liked it a lot. You had Amy Schumer open for you. Amy's great, right?
Amy's fantastic. Amy and I did 2 weeks together, probably 2007 or 2008. We were co-headlining the Sacramento Punchline and the San Francisco Punchline, and that was like the two of my happiest road memories ever. We just hung out for 2 weeks doing these clubs, and she's great. So I don't get to see her that much. That's what's nice about Montreal is there's all these people that when you're working on a show, you're working on a staff or traveling, you never see anyone. It's really nice. Like you just come into the lobby and there's like 12 people you haven't seen in 2 years. Exactly. It's awesome.
So how long did it take you to put that show together? It was at least an hour and 15 minutes?
Well, it's interesting because I had an album come out in 2009 and I was at SNL. So it wasn't like I could go right back on the road and be putting together a new hour. So it took longer than I had hoped, you know. I mean, although I don't want to hold myself to unrealistic standards of like doing one every year or something, which would be hard with a writing job. But it was something that was taking shape for the past like year and a half. And then this summer, though, the majority of the stuff was written. You know, there were other bits and stories I'd been kind of shopping around for like the past year. But in the past 3 months, a lot of the show I've been doing here has been written. So it was fun, and it feels fresher to me, which is nice, you know.
Where do you work out your material?
I've been doing hour shows at the UCB Theater. I'll, go to the Cellar any night I can. And then I've been on the road most weekends.
Do you ever come up to the comic strip?
Yeah, it's been a while, though.
Well, come up one night. I have the ability to invite you.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Oh, are you booking?
I'm partners with Richie Tinkin, and I'm doing the book on the 35 years of the strip.
Right.
I've interviewed everybody so far for the book. I was just out in L.A. interviewing Billy Crystal, and I've interviewed Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Larry Miller, George Wallace, Louis Black, Susie Essman. All these people came out of the strip.
Wow.
So if you want to come and do a set one night, I can.
The strip had pretty. I mean, I haven't heard too much. It was pretty happy place, right? I mean, yeah, people.
It was the third club in the city. The Improv opened in '63.
Yeah.
Catch opened in '73.
Yeah.
And then the Strip came along in '76.
Yeah, I got up in front of Lucian Hold once before he passed away, but I'd never really met him. Yeah. Mike Birbiglia knew him well. T.J. Miller, everybody. Mike Birbiglia. I'm name dropping Mike Birbiglia. See you, buddy. Where was I? Rudely
that you went up in front of Lucian
once. Yeah, and he just told Mike. He said, "Oh no," like it was a given, which it was after that set. It was a given. It was like I don't know why I asked, but yeah, I always enjoyed.
He usually said something. I have enough white comics.
Yeah, he's had some really funny takedowns of people, right? Yeah.
He's legendary, and every comic usually has their own impression of Lucian Hold. He was an amazing person.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Well, I'll be up at the Strip. I'd love to see you there, man.
Good, that's great. So listen, I want to thank you for coming on Comedy Matters TV. Always good to see you.
Very psyched to see you again,
and I am
Jeffrey,
absolutely looking forward to doing something together with you.
We will not do an Oh Hello short without you. It's a lock.